The chair recognizes the gentleman from Oregon, Mr. Blumenauer, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For weeks now, we've faced the artificial Republican debt crisis, which was a crisis of choice. And now, with an agreement coming forward, we should ask the question, is this worse than the default scare? Well, it's hardly clear. What about a government on autopilot locked into a slow downward spiral? First, this empowers the most reckless and extreme elements, not just in the House Republicans today, but a blueprint for mischief for either party in the future. Next, we are starting down a path of budget cuts that all the experts assure us will weaken the economy at exactly the time we need to strengthen economic growth, not reduce demand. Clearly, it is a step backwards from reforming how the country does business. The fixation on triggers, formulas, and supercommittees will make it easier for Congress to duck the difficult policy work and harder to do it if Congress wants to try. Even as it would appear we avoid outright default, this agreement casts a long-term shadow on our nation's reasonableness and our reliability for the next 2 years and beyond. And remember, the drama over the continuing resolution earlier this year. Remember, there are still 2 potential government shutdowns over the next 14 months that will invite more legislative blackmail over an extreme agenda, since it's clear that recklessness works. This is all the more frustrating because the path forward is clear. The public strongly supports a balanced approach which would include tax reform that would raise money while making the tax code more fair and simple. Everyone knows we must deal with health care costs, and until recently, there was bipartisan agreement as to how to do that. We should accelerate the health care reforms, which are already enacted into law, but do it faster to improve care and lower costs. We should require a commission. Do we need to require a commission to implement bipartisan suggestions to right-size the military, both its mission and its budget? Absolutely not. There are ideas floating around and support on both sides of the aisle to do that now. Most important, perhaps, we should revitalize the economy by rebuilding and renewing America, financed by modest increases in user fees. And one of the things that is actually, I think, most simple would be to implement bipartisan suggestions to reform agriculture, to save money while helping people who farm and people who eat by reducing massive unnecessary subsidies to large agribusiness. This agreement delays the important work while it weakens both the economy and the decision-making process. Government on autopilot in a slow downward spiral is not a victory.
Gentleman yields back.